That's always fun. Yes, I told him to, and then we were working on a post Facebook page as well. There.
Close enough.
Well, not even 20 seconds. That's good. If somebody's tuning in, don't want to miss the. All right, now you can go for it.
It's called the meeting to order.
Yes.
Roll call.
Schroeder,
Here.
Yeager, Mac, Fox, Aaron, Tabor,
Here. Reading the district mission and vision statement.
Our mission to challenge all students to achieve their full potential through engaging responsive educational experiences that inspire innovation and collaboration. Our vision to develop learners who are competent, compassionate problem solvers. Our operating principles: information for one is information for all. Prizes: verify facts, think ahead, disagree, explain your thinking, and then connect.
Thank you. Public comments? Not having any, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Does anybody have a motion to approve the agenda? We'll need a motion.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second. Any discussion, any changes, additions, corrections?
Yeah.
No, there being none, we'll approve the agenda. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed. Public hearing for the proposed 2024-2025 calendar.
Yes, thank you. I will mention before you declare your public hearing that this draft agenda has not changed since last month when published regarding early dismissals, start date and finish date. There is one small change we did complete at the request of our association. We moved one professional development day in September so that it would take place in December, which would allow our staff to complete grades for the end of the semester. So our students will then be in school that last day in September, and our teachers will be in school finishing grades the day before break with some PE. Minor change, did not change anything in the larger picture or the early dismissals, but I wanted you to make you aware of that.
Was the 20th Friday?
Yes,
So then kids will be off first, the holiday break, the 20th through starting on the 20th.
yes, they'll have 2 full weeks. And the way the calendar falls, when the holiday break comes, sometimes they get a week and 2 or 3 days, sometimes they get a full 2 weeks. What's challenging is grades have to be completed before winter break for eligibility purposes. So if we don't give teachers a few hours prior to break to do that, it can be a real problem. So it is going to bring students back because of the day of New Year's Day. It will bring them back for 1 day on Friday. And we did have a pretty good debate with the Teachers Association reps on that. Their thinking was, you know what, it's the start of second semester. They're coming back after a pretty long break. We'll get all the squirreliness out and get right into business. Say, here's your new schedule. And for younger kids, let's remember the rules. Let's go back to some of our operations. So it's kind of a nice slow start to the second semester.
Okay, thank you. So this is now the public hearing for the proposed calendar. Is there any comments on the calendar? Have there been any written inquiries to the office? No.
And did you ever get any insight into daycare providers in town?
I did. I called all of the preschools and the major daycares, the TLC and so on. None of them had any objection. They said it was easily manageable with 1 hour. The only thing they wondered about was whether we were serving lunch, and we are, of course, because we're not up till 2. They said that will be no problem. We did add 5 minutes to the calendar day. Because we go by minutes, not days.
Sure.
So that we can have that 1 hour early out. And I did have an article that you may have read last night. And I also had it published on our website and directed on our Facebook page. I did receive one comment from a parent who said they were not in favor of it. I expected to receive more.
Sure.
I still may. I feel pretty strongly that this is best practice, and with the traction we are beginning to gain, I'd like to try it for this next year and see if we can make it manageable.
Your letter was very thorough.
I've heard,
Better to over explain than under explain.
I've heard a fair amount of pushback from the folks that are talking to me. One of the main concerns is like your middle school athletics. How does that play out for their day? Are they gone for an hour and have to come back?
No, actually, what we're going to do is have the new study tables. We will be paying our teacher associates for that time anyway. So we can assign teacher associates to help students, and they can get all their homework help on Wednesday afternoons for an hour. Make sure they stay eligible. If we have assistant coaches that are not teachers, or some of our assistant coaches might be associates, where they could be assigned to do some drills with the kids. We're just making sure our certified staff are engaged at high levels, back at those quality instructional practices. So students can stay here. They certainly are welcome to leave if they want. Now, the high schoolers may or may not stay. They have transportation. Middle schools, we're going to expand our study tables, which we currently have at the middle school anyway. So the athletes can stay and work. If they're not an athlete, they're free to go.
Otherwise, buses would just start an hour earlier.
Yes.
For pickups.
So they will be supervised.
That was the biggest concern that I've heard a
Yes.
lot. What do I do if I have to leave work to get somebody back for work?
Yes, and they will not have to leave work for that. And our activities director, Dana, is working on some Q&As to send out to the public and to the coaches to clarify that. She was just a little delayed in getting it to me in time to have it published. So maybe I'll follow up with that one the following weeks. She's still working on that one. That sounds like it might be helpful.
Thank you.
Were there any other comments? And the public hearing is declared closed. At 22. On to number 7, approval of the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the following consent agenda items as listed.
Any second?
Second.
Consent agenda does not need any discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Committee reports.
No. No, yeah, no committee reports.
Number 9, administration. Administrator director reports.
No.
Superintendent report.
Thank you. To highlight what's going well, it was my good fortune to attend the winter chorus concert for our middle schoolers, and it was a pleasure to hear their lively and entertaining selections. A little out of the ordinary and a little less than traditional, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was also able to attend a wrestling meet last week and was pleased with the good sportsmanship and athleticism of both our boys and girls teams. Finally, I met in Decorah recently with the NEIC superintendents, and we were able to address a number of issues we face as rural superintendents. At the district level, representatives from our Crisis Response and Life Safety Advisory Committee are going to be attending a professional development session at Cedar Rivers Area Education Agency in Cedar Falls on Monday. The group will have a chance to work collaboratively with experts in the field to review and renew their understanding to ensure our current plans align with best practice. The AEA is also covering the cost for a community representative to go. And so Mr. Webster will be attending from Emergency Management, as well as Jerry and a couple of principals. So I think it will be really time well spent. So I'm pleased to have them there. Finally, in other news, the increasing number of English learners have warranted the transfer of a licensed staff member to assist in this area. As a result, we will be transferring her out of grade 6 English language arts, where she currently teaches, and we will be seeking a replacement for that classroom position with a long-term substitute. Moving a teacher mid-year is highly unusual, but it is necessary given the current needs of our English learners, which have increased significantly, and those that have joined us have considerable needs. So for them to be successful, we need to get a little bit of triage and just additional help for them. What we need to consider is with grade 6 students who also share 3 other core area teachers. This is one teacher of their 4 core teachers who we will be, and I'm interviewing the substitutes. We're not just assigning it, I'm actually getting to know them, making sure they're familiar with the job. We did offer it to one individual and she wasn't able to take on that much work right now. So you'll see that I've reposted that. So there's still a semblance for our 6th graders, and the work is closely aligned in with the rest of her team members, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I'm fairly confident this will be not all that different than when we have to replace for a maternity leave. We sometimes have 3 months with the substitute for teachers. It would be similar to that. In this case, it will be 1 semester. The reason we're not offering a full contract is if those numbers drop suddenly, as they did, it would behoove us to move a current staff member back into the classroom rather than try to have them reapply for another job. Any questions?
When you say increasing number, what
We're up to 54. So we serve all 4 of our schools, full range from no English whatsoever. And some of our students are also not literate in their home language or haven't been exposed to formal schooling in their home language. In fact, more than I have seen in past years are in that situation.
when you say home language, you're talking English?
No, their home language would be, in this case, Spanish. It could be any language, in this particular case, it's Spanish. So they not only do not have their native language, they are non-English speakers as well. So that there's an added layer of challenge there. We also are obligated to serve the students who attend IC. So we have the 5 schools to cover, and we have 2 teachers and 2 associates. Now, we're not obligated to send the teacher to IC. It's just a much better use of her resource and ours in not having to bus back and forth all day and pull students completely out of class and use a lot of transportation time that is not only costly, but interrupts their day.
What grade levels are involved with our 54?
All the way from kindergarten up to grade 12.
Thank you.
Yes, enrollment report, we're down 4 students this month, just 4. Those that left, moved. And in one instance, they dropped out to pursue a general education diploma. There's a new acronym for it, but most of us would recognize that as a GED.
Does it look, are we look stable in the year now?
Fairly so. In this particular, our net loss is 4 students, but that actually amounts to 9 students that came into the district. 8 moved in and 1 joined a foster home. 12 moved out and 1 dropped to get their GED. So that's a net of 4, a -4. And that creates challenges because then there's a significant, substantial disruption in their educational program.
Number 10, new business, then we move on to approval of the proposed 2024-2025 calendar. We discussed earlier. We need a motion to approve it. Is there a second?
Yeah, it's the lawyer.
Oh.
Like I'd make a motion to approve
the proposed 24-25.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Favor aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Early graduation.
Okay, so
We have 1 student that is applying to early graduate, Kay Harris. The application is part of our agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve early graduation for Kay Harris.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If you none, favor aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass. Fundraiser. County Council fundraiser.
I'll make a motion to approve the Common Council fundraiser.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion? What is this a fundraiser for?
Candy grams. I feel like that's something they've done. They like circle repeat over and over again.
They're going to use the funds they raise for anticipated profit is $150. She doesn't say what it's for here. It's a repeat event. My sense is it might be going to the prom. So I recognize a couple of names there for prom. But I can find out if that's important. Usually it's for a club or the prom or after parties.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Policy review, the second reading of policies. The retirement for 706.
We discussed this one last time. It's basically the same that you have had in the past. The policy committee decided that they'd like to take the amounts out so that you can make those decisions on an annual basis rather than have them sort of codified in the actual policy. You'll see the first line states that it's your decision on an annual basis to either move forward with or not. At this point, the director of finance is not recommending we offer early retirement this year based upon our current management fund levels. It would not be prudent.
This policy just makes the policy that of early retirement if it is instituted.
Right, and you have the big discretion to offer or not offer an early retirement program to eligible employees. And I would recommend you review that on an annual basis in the fall. That's been past practice.
So approving this particular policy does not offer it to.
No, it simply states that you have the latitude and discretion to do so, should you choose to.
When do we all do that? If we do that?
Normally, it's in between September and November
For the following year.
for the following year. So they would typically have until February to turn those applications in. And then they would be paid in January the following year after they.
I'll make a motion to approve policy 407-6, licensed employee early retirement as presented.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Graduation requirements.
This is one we've discussed at length over the past 2 or 3 months. And this is in its final draft form. Currently, the draft is written for 50 credits. It can be amended to match the most popular number with our 17 neighboring and area districts, which is 48. If you choose to go with 50, you would be tied for second place. If you choose to go with 48, and you can see on the handout, the overwhelming number are 48. 48 would allow students a retake in each of their 10th, 11th, and 12th grade years, if that were necessary. If you go with 50, you would be offering them a retake in what would be equal to 4 semesters over a 3-year period. Neither the high school principal or I have a preference, but I would look to the board to make the motion with their preference of either 48, which is the most popular, or 50, which would put us slightly above average. 54 is Osage and they're the highest, and Nashua Playing Field is at 50.
You say most popular, and if that just based upon the number of districts that have 40, or based on feedback from like students or teachers, or?
No, that is just based on the mode, MODE mode. Most frequent, that's a better way. Maybe it's not popular, it's just frequent.
Yeah, no, I know, I did. Yeah, popular with
Now, I
all
will
our
also
students.
tell you, it does not prevent a student from. So I've been visiting with a couple of students who are pretty excited that they are going to graduate with either 56 and some even up to 60 credits. That would give them special recognition for academic achievement at their graduation. They're not required to take 40, they could most certainly take more. And those are students who are very interested in things like our CAPS program, some of our vocational programs, particularly our ag draws in quite a lot of students, and that those that are active in the fine arts and take a number of those electives can easily surpass the 48 or the 50. And they're encouraged to do that.
I think that the number 48 just allows the students, for whatever reasons, that struggle, the ability to repeat if needed. The students that do not struggle, this has no effect on.
Yeah.
Because what was there's 7 periods in the day in high school? And is that requirement still maintaining where they can only have 2 free periods,
Well,
regardless of regardless of what credit number?
Right, so we have an 8-period day, 7 periods of class, 1 period of study hall. But I did talk to some kids, they don't want to take the study hall because they're those type that kind of the go-getters, and that's fine. They don't have to. And if they're disciplined and can get that work done at home or other times. I did add, and you'll see this on the handout, on page 2 of the handout, that's titled revised graduation rate challenge and solutions.
Mhm.
There you're gonna see the 8-period day is overwhelmingly the most common. You do have some variations in Decorah. There's a block schedule, as there is in St. Ansgar, depending on if it's a block or a modified block, or whether they have blocks and skinnies, which is block terminology, but it would be very close to the equivalent of a 7 to 8 day period, depending on which one of those. Having said that, the only one that has 8+, they have 8 periods, but a short break for homeroom, which would be just maybe 20 minutes or something like that. So that would be like our advisor group is 25 minutes and we have 8-period day. So that's the 8+ that you see there. Got it. You also see our graduation rate, and you also see our low income percentages. Students will still be required to pass their core graduation standards to receive a diploma in the state of Iowa, and that's State Department guidance. So they must have 30. What this allows them to do is to repeat one of the core areas, forego an elective, basically. We are also committed to not having seniors running with half-day schedules. So the guidance from the association, for example, said it's all right if they want to have 2 free periods as seniors, but of their 6 remaining periods, they are opposed to one of those being a study hall, because now we're down to 5 periods of learning as a senior.
Right.
And that doesn't seem like a good use of their time,
Right.
right? And so, especially when we have so many outstanding offerings in this school that are just incredible, right? I mean, you can look at our course catalog available online, and it's very impressive, the number of electives. Now, this might impact the number of electives periods.
Sure.
So we may have, instead of right now, it might look like a 10-person and a 12-person class. If this changes, it could be a 7 and a 6-person class, we would join those, or it could be a 10-person and an 8-person. We would join that. So there could be fewer slots for the electives, but you're paying full-time employees to work full-time. So as you adjust those, and that will take probably a year to winnow its way out and for it to adjust. This will become effective as of tonight. It will impact our current seniors if you decide to pass this. The beauty in that is our students that might have struggled still have a chance, and they won't feel obligated to take a 5th year as a senior and really set their lives on a different course. It also allows us a chance to make some changes in the following year to right-size that, because the number of periods we offer with students in the class there's a cost to that. And we have to consider the cost of doing business in school, because we want to be as lean as possible without squeezing, so that we have as much of our resource left to offer pay increase for our staff, because we like the fact on average we have higher pay and outstanding superior benefits in our insurance. So those are things that are in the play with this. So how can we be as sensible with our public funds while not denying our kids access? That's really the bottom line.
Bruce, do you have any thoughts on credits? You guys kind of jumped into this late.
I actually think 48 is a good number. I think that it actually it allows the kids that struggle the ability to still be successful. It allows the kids who do not struggle and want to pursue other classes the ability will have higher quality even than the quality we have now.
Mhm.
And so the kids that are interested in filling up their day will fill up their day and be better off than they are now. I think it helps both sides of the student population. Seems oxymoron, but I think it does.
Mhm.
But
I guess I'd make a motion to amend it to 48 credits. I don't know if I have to word that any other way,
Let's see, make a motion to,
because we have to amend it first, correct?
Yeah.
yeah, I guess in the wording, it says it could be amended. So you, maybe you just say, I make a motion to approve. To adjust the credit requirements to 48. credits.
For policy 50505.
For policy.
To.
So, can you nail that?
I'll make
Take
a
your turn.
motion to approve policy 505 at 48 credits.
0.05.
I'll second.
Any further discussion regarding that? There being none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
I opposed. That's one. 600 series. First half.
For the most part, this is the first half of your 600 series. Notable is 503.08. This is required by recent legislation. Worked for it, I'm going to say 3 or 4 meeting sessions with senior leader principals that not only adopted the guidance from the State Department that we received, but were able to work with some teachers to further refine the guidance so we can look at frequency and the notion of whether or not the incident might be likely to occur in the future. So those are both new to your policy book this year as per legislation. The rest are not new, but all updated and none of which had any substantive changes.
This 503.0. That's hard on their difference.
Yes, the first is the policy and it outlines the basic core of the work. The second is the regulation. And in the regulation, you see some additional detail on incident levels as they are defined. There's a third level that will be added to the handbooks that will also be able to give consistency in each of our buildings, but able to respond effectively to the students' needs in a consistent manner.
Who would be the motion to approve?
So that's one motion.
Make a motion to approve policies 503.08 and the first half of the 600 series.
And a second,
Second.
any further discussion on that? There being none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed. Board comments. Had a chance to go through the school. High school with Jerry. And meet with Ann. We'll be having a facilities meeting coming up. Jerry is planning on start looking at high school needs. Got some architectural drawings way back when high school was built. Just to be good.
You like architect?
Not really. There aren't quite anything to look at. But I think there are options. Jerry and I, a year ago, when we walked through all of the buildings throughout the district, I think it was a year ago, including over at North Grand. We talked about some options for auditorium-like stage and performing facilities looked at different things at the elementary schools and some things at the middle school that needed updating, in high school here. There were several options, and I have had some meetings recently, and Jerry has mentioned to you some options that he had talked to me about a year ago. So there are some things that are starting to get to gel, I guess I would say. Yeah, once we get our facilities meeting together, so more seriously about it. Things that are of interest to us, things that are financially responsible, things that are needed, and how to plot that out. So I think good things are starting to happen. Be able to get together a nice plan to meet the needs of the school. Go ahead and end things about. If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Dave? Aye.
6:50.